Alright guys, I got a Dell Inspiron, let's see, 1525. It's missing a couple keys, but the complaint for this is it kind of gets hot on the bottom, right in this general area where the fan's at. Just overheats, shuts down, and you gotta wait for it to cool, and then it'll turn right back on for a few more minutes. So usually what happens is there's a lot of hair and dirt and dust and stuff that gets trapped inside here, and the exhaust fan, it pulls air from here and shoots it out here. And usually in between the heat sink there'll be just a whole bunch of crud and whatnot. So we're going to take it all apart and clean it and reapply thermal paste. And you got a screw here all the way around. So and these don't actually come out. There's a washer behind them. Well, that one actually came out. And just pull up. There it is. And I can already tell. See all that hair and stuff down in between there? Yep. That's what we got to get out of there. And we're going to reapply thermal paste to these. One of these is your, I think this here is the CPU, and this is the GPU. And there is 4 screws. Well, yeah, 4 screws, one in each corner, and then there's one over here. Looks like we got to take out. And it should just lift right up off in there. Oh yeah, look at that. I would say that's pretty much clogged. Look down in here. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty much clogged. And like I said, most of these screws don't come out. They got a plastic washer behind them. Looks like there's no heat sink on this one, or a thermal paste. So make sure you don't take that off and ruin it. Let's go ahead, I'm just going to put that right back on top of it. We're going to clean that off. Yeah, that's the hard stuff. Hate that stuff. Usually lighter fluid will take that stuff right off. And then make sure you have some isopropanol alcohol to wipe all the oil and stuff off before you reapply thermal paste. So it pretty much just melts. I want to take a razor blade. Give me a minute. I'm going to scrape it off. Do it real gentle and always flat so you don't gouge it. Now all I gotta do is clean that up with some alcohol and it'll be ready to go. Now I gotta clean the processor. Same way. You don't want to put too much on it though. That's clean. Then take your alcohol and wipe all the oil and lighter fluid off of it. Good enough. Now, if you really wanted to, you can take some sandpaper, some emery cloth, like 2000 grit or something, and you go ahead and just make it a little smoother if you really wanted to. As you can tell, it got really hot in this spot here, and if you feel it with your finger, you can kind of feel some roughness. But this one ain't all too bad. Alright. I got some thermal paste here in this packet I'm just going to put on. First I'm just going to dry off everything and make sure it has no residue on it. Yeah, about that much. That's actually probably a little too much, but I always like putting a little more than what I should. I've never had a single problem with it ever, so. Well, probably should clean this up a little better. Well, before I put this back on, that fan inside there, it's actually not too bad. The fins are a little dusty, but to get to that, you'd have to take all that off. If you really wanted to, you could take your time and go in here and clean each little fin, get all the dust off, but I'm not going to worry about it. Got that all cleaned up. You can actually see through it now. You want to go a few turns on each one first to get them started. Do not cross thread these. It'd be a nightmare. Be a very bad day. I'm gonna have to get a better screwdriver. This tip is just about shot. There it is. Perfect. I just can't believe how much of that hair and stuff was actually in there. Wow. Let's put this back on. Now this was one of the easier ones. Really easy. On Toshibas and HPs, you gotta, I think maybe on some HPs, but mostly all Toshibas, you gotta take everything apart just to get to the heatsink. It is a nightmare. I've done it before, and it was just all over the place. I had so many parts laying around, wasn't even funny. And there it is.